for us. DB Corp is the one that we are speaking about. Let's go through those numbers first. The sales number is up 5.3%, EBITDA is down 21%, profit is down 10.2%. It's been a little painful as far as the quarterly performance is concerned. But going through the print EBITDA, that's coming at 145 crores. It's contracted 2%. Radio EBITDA is contracted 39%, coming at 15 crores. The consolidated EBITDA is down 5.9%. This is in absolute terms. However, their existing business has done well before expansion, that is in terms of print, and their newer markets like Bihar as well as small portion of Maharashtra, that has possibly led to some drag on the overall level. Let's get in Mr. Girish Agarwaal, he's director at DB Corp, to understand these numbers better. Mr. Agarwaal, good to have you on the show. Thank you for joining in. Not too good a performance. I mean, what are the key drivers behind this? What has led to the pressure this time around?
I think given the scenario, 6% advertising growth is a fantastic performance. And also let me add on to the point that EBITDA has gone down by 6%, largely because, as you know, we are doing expansion plan in Bihar. So the pre-launch one-off expenses of Bihar. And also in other market also we are doing a circulation drive. So for that there's a one-off expenses. So if I take that off, my EBITDA decline is almost zero. Most importantly, I would like to share with you that based on our various efforts, we've been able to grow our circulation in a difficult market, especially where the perception is happening that the circulation growth is slowing down. I just want to add on that in the month of June, we were at 50,41,000 copies. And in the month of September, we are at 54.28 lakh copies. Almost a growth of 4 lakh copies at around 8% growth in a 3.5 months time. So that's remarkable by any standard. So I think all these efforts are going to pay off going forward. And we are very confident about everything else except the advertising various categories behavior. As you know, we are dependent on advertising. So this time, automobile did a fantastic job. But two categories which are also important for us are education and real estate. That took the beating. So I think that kind of took away the growth number from double digit to a single digit.
Your print circulation revenue, in fact, has gone up 8%.
Yes,
yeah.
8%.
So yeah, that's important to mention. So 127 crore, I think, is the current year's revenue.
Yes.
But there has been shrinkage in all your print EBITDA, radio EBITDA, console EBITDA, but I think you've explained that enough. Let's go to the distinction. I mean, you've made a distinction in your classifications of the existing business, the mature print business, and the other side. So I think the emerging additions for Bihar and a small portion of Maharashtra have caused the drag. So it's 32%.
I won't say a drag for simple reason. It's an investment in those markets. If you have to grow the Bihar, currently we are at 3.5 lakh copies in Bihar and we target to go to 8 lakh copies. So for that we are doing the pre-launch exercise, door-to-door surveys and all that. So I think that kind of investment is required in that market.
Okay, no, but my point is that are you done with your infusion into the newer markets, or is there more that we could see in terms of that cost being pumped in for this H2?
No, you will see it more coming in. You will see more at a reasonable level coming in. We are, as I told you, we are expanding Bihar. At the same time, we are expanding the existing markets also. Like this 4 lakh copies growth, 8% growth has come from a store-to-store sales. Like Gujarat to Gujarat growth, Rajasthan to Rajasthan growth, and all these markets. So I think, and as a company, we are very clear that this, in the next 1 year's time, will continue the circulation drive to get the dominance in circulation in all these markets. Because in our business is very clear, if you have a dominance in the market from the circulation perspective, the advertising follows.
Fair enough. But my point is that there's Dainik Bhaskar, of course there's Dainik Jagran as well, which is a big player. Now, without taking any names, are you facing some competitive intensity in terms of your common markets in which you are in the Hindi belt, in terms of loss of advertising revenue from education, as you mentioned, and maybe I think healthcare, to near competitors?
So frankly speaking, the market share of ours has increased in last 1 year's time. So overall the market is slow, the volumes are down in the overall market. So we are not facing a competition from that perspective that I am losing a market share to my competition. What we are facing a problem is the overall pie in last 1 year's time has not grown, and in some cases it has shrunk. For example, real estate has gone down by almost 30-35%.
Okay. So if you can tell us, sir, what is the quantum that you intend infusing more into the new markets like Bihar? Is there a number that you can share with us for H2?
No, I can only give you an indication that as a company, we've been very conscious and cautious about the investment what we make in the various markets. So a particular percentage of EBITDA we use for the expansion in the various markets. And all the investors are aware about it, and we maintain that kind of flow going forward also.
Okay, let's speak about the digital and the radio side of the business as well, because there's been a very sharp contraction in radio EBITDA. Now, what I want to know is that after the recent round of auctions, what's the kind of commitment that you've put in for the newest wave of auctions? How much is that quantum? How are you financing it? And is the pressure on the EBITDA because of that in the newer markets?
So the radio EBITDA, the overall top line has grown by 17%. The EBITDA has gone down because all the 13 new stations which we acquired was launched in last 6 months' time. And that's the reason you see a one-off cost in the radio business. Because of that, the EBITDA has gone down. Maybe by next quarter or maybe the fourth quarter, you will see that thing will be out, and you'll see a better number in the radio business. Digital, the overall number is down because what we are getting a feeling that the demand of the overall digital inventory is down from the advertising perspective. And a couple of other industries, and we spoke to a couple of other companies, they're also feeling the same. Another important point in digital is the desktop revenue. You know, there are two revenues. One is a mobile revenue and one is a desktop revenue. Desktop revenue is falling very sharply. So I think the overall demand is becoming an issue over there, but I would assume it's a temporary phenomena, should get over in a couple of quarters.
So your radio revenues, you said, has grown 17%. Now my question is that does this number include the 13 new stations?
Yes, certainly yes.
So then my point is, okay, so then my point is that from your existing, number of stations.
Single digit from the existing ones and a double digit from the newer centers.
But my point is that have you seen sluggish growth, at least for the, from the newer ones?
Newer one, no, it's not a sluggish growth because it just started. So newer one, they will still take 2-3 years time to really come up to the optimal potential. But to answer your query, is the market sluggish? Yes, it is. Otherwise, this number would have been much better.
I mean, there's no positivity that we could see for the radio EBITDA in the second half as well.
You will, because the one-off cost which has been incurred in this quarter for the launches of pre-launch of these 13 stations will not be there in the second quarter. In the third quarter, you will see improvement there.
Okay, understood. We are going to leave it at that, sir. Thank you so much for joining in, explaining your numbers to us and how the outlook looks like as well. So it's been a little under pressure, but the management suggests that most of the costs are behind them and some circulation pump in needs to be done for the Bihar market as well. That's likely to continue. So that's where the pressure is coming from essentially at the operating level. But their current business, the mature print business, has yielded a positive sort of an EBITDA, and that remains to be kind of stable. But let's put the focus on the flashes at the bottom of your screen now.